This episode of GuildCast is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, just head on over to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV. Go now.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to GuildCast episode 94 for November 13th, 2013. You're watching Gamebreaker. I'm Gary, and coming up on today's show, we got nightmares for everybody. Nightmares for you and you and you. Permanent account-bound gathering tools. And fail to win is back. All that and more, but first, the bog otter himself, Mr. Richie Procopio. How are you, sir?
Hello there, Mr. Gannon. You have nightmares for me, too?
Nightmares for you, too, sir. Nightmares for all. And the matter visual nightmare for you.
Hey. Thank you for the nightmares.
Nightmares for all. All right. Nightmares. So, the patch came out yesterday. The Tower of Nightmares has been breached. Since we don't show video because of the damn YouTubes. Screw you, YouTubes. What's it like inside visually for players who haven't jumped in yet? Is it as impressive as the usual ArenaNet art team kind of delivers?
I think it's pretty darn cool looking in there. It's also much larger inside than it appears outside. It's a big labyrinth. There's three separate levels, and yeah, it's got a definite creepy, you're choking on poison constantly type vibe to it for sure. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That sounds fun. I love choking on poison.
Yeah, it just doesn't look very. You know what's funny about it? Like the whole thing looks, obviously toxic and poisonous, right? It's the whole theme. But I guess members of the Good Guys team they invested in some HEPA filters from one of these online catalogs maybe, because yeah, every once in a while you'll find one of these air purifiers that you can actually stand in and breathe easy for a little bit. You can actually pick them up and carry them, and it's really funny. Just
that's kind of hilarious.
Carrying a HEPA filter around.
That's kind of ridiculous. That's kind of funny. Does it break the immersion, or is it just totally goofy and funny?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting mechanic in one of the dungeons at the end. You can actually pick them up, and it's very beneficial to actually have one with you. But yeah, it is a little weird. You're carrying this big thing around. It's like, oh, boss fight. Let me plant this right here.
What'd you think of the visual style, Mr. Mad Visual, who doesn't like nightmares apparently?
I liked it a lot, actually. I like the way they did the tower with the maze. It made it feel like it had like a sense of scale. Climbing the tower, going around in a circle. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Crown Pavilion, a little bit to that size. And yeah, overall, like I'm happy they went with open world, and all in the same
talk
map.
to me about that a little bit. So it sounds like we've kind of got the best of both worlds here, Stat, with the Tower of Nightmares. So first of all, there's an open world area inside the tower, correct?
Yes. One big open world.
Is it similar to the Queen's Gauntlet with events and large group content?
Yeah, there's a lot of events, right, as you're running through this thing that will just spawn randomly. And there's just tons of monsters. There's tons of traps. There's tons of poisonous flowers, and you're climbing up these rickety like vines and different things, spiraling up. And it's like a big open world dungeon. And there's there's different instances that we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, the open world area is a lot of fun. Now I do see some comments from people that if you're not there like right away when a big group is going or whatnot, you're just trying to go through solo. I mean, some of it is very thick with traps, poison, and monsters, and it's a little difficult to navigate. But yeah, if you're running with a group of people, it looks like utter chaos. It looks like the worst place that you could possibly want to invade, and it's just really cool looking around, like seeing dozens of people and just stuff flying everywhere. Yeah,
everybody just running for their lives, trying to catch a breather from a filter.
Yeah, and what I liked most visually, because we were talking about that, is once you're spiraling around and everything's green and dismal and thorny and poisonous, and then eventually you get to the third floor and you all of a sudden start to breach the top of the tower, and it's open. and you actually start to realize, oh my god, I'm way high up and I'm looking out over like Keswick's Hills, and that's what really was just mind blowing to me. Like you spend so much time climbing this thing, and then you actually get a sense of how far up you are, and it's really cool to see.
So that's where. So then at the top of the tower, when you get to the top, you've got the Nightmare Incarnate. It's which is the instance area, correct? What's going on there? I mean, do we have? Are you greeted by a Scarlet and a giant bug?
Sort of, I guess you could say. I mean, it's kind of like the rooms, but a little bit longer, pretty much. Except for the end actually has a boss, and of course it's Scarlet. And she goes through this portal thing, and oh, spoilers. I probably shouldn't say spoilers, but you get to fight this big, huge crate, I guess, that's been affected. I don't know much lore about it, but it was a decent fight. I mean, usually just go in there and I did it by myself. You didn't even have to have people with you to do this. I did everything solo.
Oh, you could solo it all? It's all solo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it scales up though. If you have a group, I've heard, I've actually did it with the little instances with the groups, and the monsters at the end become champions at that point, which give you slightly better loot, but they also take forever to kill. And that end instance that Matt's talking about isn't the only instance. As you're going up, there are these nightmare chambers, and they're the exact same layout, every single one of them, but they put random assortment of creatures in. There's random trash fights, you have random NPCs that are helping you, and the dialogue options are really interesting because they're all under the effects of hallucinogens. Because
are these optional instances, or are they just like...
If you are going for like the meta achievement, you want to unlock all the achievements, then you're going to do a bunch of these. I think you have to do like 10 of them or something for one of the achievements. But is it 9 of them? No, you have to find 9 different ones, but I think you have to do like 10 total. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of achievements with them, and but you can ignore them and you don't have to do them. You can just run to the end and do the final one. But yeah, it's there's a lot of little mini instances with random dialogue in it. And there's some random mini bosses in it, and then the one Matt's talking about is the actual the pinnacle where Scarlet does her she has this really cool cutscene where she reminisces about all of the trouble that she's caused. She's like, oh, you remember back with the Molten Alliance? You didn't even know that was me, and then the Aether Blades, and I brought the Inquest together, and the Watchwork Knights, and now the Toxic Alliance, and she does this big tirade, and then walks through a portal, and you can't kill her. It's like, come on!
Like, it's all build up for nothing. All right, let's talk about
me of the Thominova reactor for some reason when I saw that. I was like,
I know. What about the fat loots, Matt? Because I know you all about the loots. What about the rewards?
Sigh.
Sigh? Sad face?
It's I mean, it's the same old pretty much. I mean, you get your blues and greens, and I haven't opened a try chest. Have you opened
I opened 2 try chests, and I got very lucky on my second one. I got the new rare mini pet. It's a pet. It's a mini pet of the final boss. It's the toxic hybrid, and he looks really cool.
But so the rewards kind of lackluster.
Well, I mean, there's some RNG to it, right? There's this try chest before you go into the final instance that you need 3 different color keys to open, and you can find them on random mobs, and you can also trade some pristine spores and stuff on a vendor to get them. And you open it and you get some stuff, but you have a slight chance to get a new helmet skin or a back item because we need those.
Of course, or need a back piece. Wouldn't be a proper content patch without a back piece.
Yeah, but the big reward and there's no RNG to it. I think a lot of people are excited that the meta achievement, when you complete that, for the first time you get a combat helm, and it's like a really, like we talked about last week, a high-tech gas mask type thing that I know like a couple of my engineer friends really want. So, but that's a guaranteed as long as you complete the achievements. Yeah.
So no actual dungeon in the patch, correct?
I would consider this an open world dungeon, right? There's some smaller open world dungeons like the Flame Temple Tombs. I think that's what it is, the Diessa Plateau. There's other things like this, but this is a really big, sprawling area that is kind of an open world dungeon. And then you do these little mini instances, which is, they're short. It takes 15 minutes to get through one of these. So I wouldn't say it's like an explorable dungeon path by any means, but it feels a little dungeony.
Do you guys like these? You think you'd like to see more like open world dungeons like this, kind of set up and not being instance based?
I feel like we're getting a lot of these patches that are all about, big open world and group. Even though I originally wanted an open world, but I feel like we need to get some more structured stuff that are just.
Look at the
doesn't have
flip
to do with
flopping going on.
Zergs
Look at the
all the
flip
time.
flopping. I want open world.
Yeah,
Then I get
but
open
it's
world, and
just
then it's like,
like-
man, all right, can we get some instance
Yeah,
thing, a little more structured?
No,
and-
the tower was done well, and that's how I like it to be. The thing is, once the group is gone, it's kind of hard to go through the tower by yourself. If you're not like a guardian or something like that, like me, like a lot of people just die trying to get through, especially when all the mobs kind of converge onto you. If you go into an overflow, it's going to be like that.
MMO. You are supposed
Yeah,
to.
it is.
I think Matt might have. I think Matt, you probably should try to go through it with some people because it's a different experience.
Oh no! I didn't die. I'm talking about other people.
No, I'm not talking about you
was
dying, but I'm talking about it might be more fun if you were actually in a group. Like if my guild got together, right, and ran through the tower, the open world part, and then maybe like 5 of us went into a dungeon, you know, the actual instance. It's
No,
just
I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is that I would like to see more stuff that's probably not open world, because we're getting a lot of Zerg patches now where basically you're with a Zerg and you just Zerg through pretty much. And you know, I would like to see some story-driven instances or
story.
You know, 5 minutes.
What is this? Has hell frozen over? Where's the
I
map
don't
visual? I just
know.
want loots. I don't care about story. Give me loots. Give me open world. Now he's like, give me instances. Give me more story. What's
Longer
happening?
story parts instead of just like one little cutscene. And you know, I want personal story. I guess that's what I'm wishing for. I guess that's where
Richie,
I'm at.
what's
I'm
going
at
on? Are we like
expansions
is this like
now.
a parallel universe? Did we just like step
Yeah.
through some portal?
This is kind of weird. I don't know how
This
many
is
of
a
the
little
little
weird. I
side
don't know what's
instances
happening.
did you do? Did you do a bunch of the side instances?
Yeah. I did.
Because there's
I
a
did
lot
my
of cool
achievement.
dialogue in there. Because you know it depends
yeah.
on who's with you. They go through all of their like nightmares, and you know Brom is talking about his mom Air, and you know Marjorie Delacroix is talking about Mendel, the boy she saw murdered, and you know all these people are having these really nightmare situations. So there's story to pick out of it for sure. But it sounds like Matt, though, your next. I mean, we'll speculate about this maybe later, but the graphic for the next release for the next patch, it looks interesting. It looks like
Yes,
we might
it
be
does.
getting the fractal updates. That's what it looks like to me.
Well,
And if we get the three,
it's getting to the end of the year. It's getting
It
to the end of
is.
the year. It's time. It's time to deliver.
and you know it's not going to be during Winter's Day, right?
yeah, exactly.
Which
So we
actually,
might get.
I have it up. It is behind me.
Is that
It's the
Winter's
Winter's
Day?
Day video. Yeah. It's one from
Nice.
last year.
I like Winter's
so
Day.
has the link to the Wizards Tower been revealed yet? I still #believe.
Oh, stop. No Wizard Tower. No.
Damn.
They can't come up with a wizard tower and not have flying mounts, so it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt climbed the entire tower waiting for the airship at the top, but there was
Yes.
There
I was sitting there waiting.
just
What
a
do
pair
you
of diving goggles.
What do you guys see happening in the next update? You think is it time to bring the tower down?
Well, the interesting thing about this is the tower is actually not set to go away at a certain time, from what I understand. There is a little meter in the top right corner of everybody's screen with a bar that's slowly, very slowly filling up. And what happens is, I think this is a global thing. The more people that finish the instance at the top of the tower and inject the antitoxin into the heart flower that's up there, it slowly fills up this bar. And I think over the course of several weeks, as we complete that bar, that's when the actual nightmare will end and the tower might collapse, or who knows what's going to happen when we fill that up. But it's up to the players to actually do that instance over and over again in order to fill that bar. And so I don't think the next patch is actually going to be along this vein. From what it looks like on the little graphic on the website, it looks like we're going to get the fractals, if what I'm seeing is accurate. So we might see 3 new fractals come next patch. Awesome.
Matt, you looking forward to those fractals? You want instant story-driven content? What are you looking for?
Well, why do people think I'm hating on the patch? I'm just saying I would like to see a switch.
Oh, we're not thinking you hate
Oh
on
my
the
gosh,
patch.
I love the new patch. I'm just saying. I love the open world. But I want some personal story stuff too as well.
Let's jump back for a second and talk about let's talk about the tri-chest again for a second. Last week, I mean, we kind of were worried that they were just going to be a complete waste of time. Richie, it sounds like you got lucky. I don't know. Would you say that they're really worth collecting? I mean, would you really tell players to start getting them? I mean, it sounds like have we heard anything else? Any other decent loot coming out of that besides the cool mini pet?
There's a back piece and a helm, and also there's an achievement tied to how many times you open the chest. So I think it's 5 times you have to open it for the achievement. Yeah, you know what? If you're just doing the content,
isn't there a heal? Isn't there a heal, special heal?
Yeah, we already have that. We unlocked that last patch. Which is slightly disappointing, to be honest.
How did it? Was that the ability that you have to bring into the tower for all the toxins?
Well, I thought it removes the toxin, which is this new condition and whatever. But the problem is, I put it on just for the flavor, and it stinks. It's horrible in this kind of situation because the toxin that you get, it's constantly being refreshed, like while you're in the end dungeon or even on the 3rd floor. So if you put on the skill that removes it, you remove it. 5 seconds later, you got the toxin again, and it's back. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to use that.
So what do you guys think? What was the special heal for then?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a test for them putting out a new skill. It's the only thing I could really come up with. That people are using it in World versus World apparently when you're in a large group because it can remove conditions and heal allies in large groups. But for small number of player content, it doesn't seem to be very useful. The heal itself isn't very strong.
Interesting. To wrap up about the tower, there was a ton of hype around the tower. Obviously, we've been talking about it for quite a while. I had a really good setup. I want to do something different. I want to review the tower. Did it pay off? Scale of 1 to 10, Richie. What do you give the tower? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst.
You know what? I'm hearing a lot of good feedback from it. I've had people post some things on videos and talk. I've seen talking in game. It's just like, wow, I'm having a lot of fun. So I ran around with a group last night. We did a lot of the content and knocked out a good portion of the meta actually just in a couple hours. I would probably give it about an 8.
All right, an 8.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid number. What about you, Matt?
I go to around 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Chat room thought you hated the patch, and now you're saying 10 out of 10.
No, I give it a 7.
Come on, 10's perfect. We give it a 7?
I give it a 7.
All right, so average at 7.5, give it like a 7.5. All right, that's pretty good. That's
I think
a pretty
Matt's
good
being
patch.
nice. I don't think that's what he feels.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was great. And
say what you feel, man. You want to give it a 3? Give it a 3.
What? No. It wasn't bad. It was definitely not bad. It's what I'm saying is that I hyped the tower so much, and then when I got in, I was just like, oh, And
I'm checking the chat room.
That's kind of what happened to me personally.
I'm seeing people right in all your range. I'm seeing 8s out of 10s. I'm seeing 9 out of 10s. I'm seeing that's a pretty solid number for a content patch. It was hyped pretty much. So solid patch overall. It sounds like a lot of people are having fun.
Yeah.
Which I'm turning this show into a review show starting this week. That's the new thing. So we're gonna review everything, and I'm gonna put a numbering system.
Oh, no.
So yes, welcome to GuildCast 2.0. I just came up with this in the past 5 minutes. No, I was just having a conversation with Mike Shaft, and I'm like, some of our shows need something new. We need something. I need to breathe new life into some of these shows that we're talking about it. And I'm reading our show notes, and I'm talking about it. And I think partially could possibly be actually like, especially in something like this, they're doing so much content so quickly. I think we can like kind of properly sort of review the content that they're putting out. Because in MMO, you can't be like just the expansion. So I think they put out enough small pieces of content that we can talk about it and actually kind of give our thoughts and put a number on it and say, hey, what we think of it. I mean, that's a pretty solid, 8 out of 10. I'd be damn happy with that as a piece of content for a content patch.
Yeah.
You guys in?
It's
You guys
fun.
in? I'm only putting you on the spot. We're only live. You in? You in? All right.
I can give out numbers.
Chat room, you in?
I learned to count to 10 when I was in elementary.
There you go.
Let's go.
They're in. Chat room's in.
They want to review the host's shirts. That's what the chat room's doing. They're giving out numbers. 24.
24. Yeah. It's a great show. All right. By the way, Matt, I've got one website for you. Just head on over to Gamebreaker Nation. Get yourself some friends. Get up in that tower, bro. Get up in that tower. You need some people to play with. GameBreakerNation.com.
I have a guild for that.
They're not as cool as the Gamebreaker Nation. I'm telling you right now.
I'll try it out.
Damn. Dissing your guild. If you guys have not checked... I'm only kidding. If you guys have not checked out the Gamebreaker Nation, though, and we don't have any requirements that you can't be in more than one guild. We're not like, you have to be in the Gamebreaker Nation and no other group. No, we get it. There's tons of people in multiple guilds. So if you guys are looking for groups, the Guild Wars 2 group is doing really well, as much as a bunch of other games as well. So we're a cross gaming guild. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, go to GameBreakerNation.com. You can click the apply button in there and sign up. All online games. Even if you guys play like League of Legends, Smite, we got all kinds of events going. Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, all that stuff. Check out the upcoming events tab there, and check out the calendar here. There's a bunch of stuff. Let's see what's going on. There's actually some stuff going on today. Today's Wednesday. So what's today's date? Today is the 13th?
13th.
Yes. It's 6 o'clock. So like 6 o'clock today, we have the League of Legends Summoners Rift game nights. All the league players get together. 7:30 is the Guild Wars 2 After GuildCast surprise community event. Don't miss it. Starts at 7:30 PST for all the Guild Wars 2 peeps. Surprise event. And you can watch that because that's not on this stream on Twitch. So make sure you click the live button over at GameBreakerNation.com. It's a different stream. It's twitch.tv/GBNation. That's where they stream all that stuff. So just go over to GameBreakerNation.com, click the live thing, and we're all good. We're all good. We're all good. Permanent gathering tools. Permanent gathering tools have become account bound rather than soul bound. Oh, yes.
So
Finally. You know, it's so funny because the quality of life, things like this, that when these smaller changes for veteran players become like the most massive, and the players get so excited for them.
Oh yeah.
Not talking about World of Warcraft, but seriously, at BlizzCon, like they were announcing all the new features, and then they talked about like, and there's going to be UI updates to heirlooms, and like there's a little like standing ovation of like a new UI tab. They were like, ah! And it was like, wow, like you could just see the life cycle. So it's funny that even stuff like this, like most players have been playing for so long. So, I mean, we have been talking about this being a problem for so long in Guild Wars 2. It's finally here. How much were these soulbound tools costing in the gem store?
800 were 800. So $10.
800 just for one character.
Yeah.
Yes. For one tool.
One tool.
You need three different tools.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
Expensive.
So now this is the thing to note. So yeah. So for people out there, if you've already purchased a permanent gathering tool, you can actually upgrade it to account bound by you got to unequip it. You got to take it to a Black Lion weapon specialist, and then they will upgrade it for you, which is fine.
Yep.
As long as you've not already purchased multiple tools for multiple characters. Have you guys done that?
No. Well, it's funny. I'm excited about this for other people because I really am just a one-tune guy. So I mean, I've made them all account bound so I can keep them on my one character. But yeah, there's other people are going to get more use out of this, I feel.
Yeah, I like to switch to another character every once in a while, kind of change it up. And I've been thinking of just going full on into another character, maybe get a legendary on him and stuff like that, just kind of freshen it up a bit. Because, after playing one character for a while, it kind of gets a little boring. So I will, if I were to go to my Elementalist now, and I could just transfer over my tools and not have to worry about buying tools for him. If I want to level up a character, and level up to 80, I can just put the tools on them myself, keep going to the shop over and over again. Especially the way I level, I constantly just keep going over and over to each map really quickly. I don't feel like going to the shop. These tools really help.
Now, before the really hardcore players out there get completely pissed off, and if you bought, each of your characters like a full set of permanent soulbound tools, you might be a little angry, but don't worry. ArenaNet have said that they want to take care of those people and that they should submit a ticket. But I don't exactly know what that's going to entail. Have they kind of given us any more details on what they will be doing for those players?
They're going to refund the gems. They will refund if you bought multiple versions of them and you don't want them, then you could submit a ticket and they will refund the gems so that you are a happy camper again.
So now we just got to get the word out because not everyone reads the forums, not everyone watches this show because you suck. But got to get the word out to them. So if you guys have purchased on multiple characters and stuff like that, get your ticket in and get your gems back. So ArenaNet giving you a solid. That's a really, that's pretty solid that they did that.
Yeah, they keep doing all the good stuff. I mean, they really know how to make people happy. I'll tell you that. Every time there's always like a quality of life thing that's coming out. It's like, oh, here, you guys wanted this, so here. It's great.
Any of your friends or buddies or guildies like falling into that category that have done this and spent a ton of gems on this?
No, not that I know of. I think back in the day when Elizabeth was on the show, because she has 1,000 alts. I think she did purchase some multiple characters. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, it's ArenaNet is great at, like Matt said, at doing these type of quality of life things where they don't necessarily make money on the deal. They just do it to get some good faith out of people and make you feel like you're not going to get raked over the coals for no reason. But at the same token, some people might want to actually keep multiple sets because it is a little bit of a pain to have to like go run to your bank, throw them in the bank, log in your other character, take them out of the bank, and stuff like that. Some people might even be happy having multiple copies, so they don't even have to do that.
But I agree. I think for the long haul, go ahead. It'd be really nice if you just had them accessible, like on all characters.
Yeah, kind of like what they do with some items, like you bought this, so it's unlocked on your account. Every time you make a new character now, you get an in-game mail, and those items are in it. Because
that sort of seems like that could be a possibility. Maybe they can get on that, because that would be like the ultimate sort of like way to kind of handle this. But I think ArenaNet just got the whole system down right. Like other MMO companies looking at sort of the free-to-play or buy-to-play, like, sort of like way of doing things. ArenaNet one thing, because we do multiple shows about different MMOs, and you've seen me maybe rage and walk off sometimes on some other shows that we do here. But it's like the decisions they make on some of these other games are just so ridiculous and crazy. And ArenaNet, we have almost never. I can't even think of a time that any of us have like raged at some sort of gem/store decision since the game has launched, which is crazy. And I think that in turn, like you said, they don't necessarily monetarily win off of this particular thing, but I think that has a psychological effect of like for the long term, they will end up making more money because they've just kept in the good graces of all of the players, and makes you feel really psychologically good about the game, and you like the game, and I want to spend money and spend gems. It's like, don't rob me, man. Yeah, and let's take it out of the gem context for a minute, though. If you want a character, or let's say you want your characters to have a set of these things, you're basically paying for an expansion, right? It's $30 to have unlimited tools for all three types, right? And now it's actually, if you want the account-bound versions going forward, they're going to be selling them for 1,000 gems, a little bit higher price. So they, it is smart for them to do this because there's a lot of people out there with these unlimited tools, and they got like 30 extra bucks from every single one of them. So they certainly know how to make money and monetize these things. Totally optional. You don't need these items at all to play the game. They cost a couple silver in game to actually have the equivalent, tools. But yeah, it's a convenience thing that people are willing to pay for. Yep. So if you want to get your refund, make sure you send in your ticket. You will get your gems back. All right. I want to talk about fail to win, but first I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on with Audible. Love, love, love the Audible. All you got to do is head over to audible.com/Gamebreaker, make an account, and I want to hook you up with a free 30-day trial and a free audio book. I'm sure a lot of you peeps out there probably have seen Aragon. Possibly, maybe. I can guarantee you one thing: the book is much better than the movie, as most books usually are. Books are much better.
That! Oh my gosh, it was so horrible.
The book is fantastic.
Yes, I know. I read the book before watching the movie.
Right?
It was so bad. It was
right,
so bad.
And that's why I brought that up, because I know a lot of you probably have seen the movie. The movie was not so hot. The book is great. And I'm gonna play. Let me play a little bit of it. Wait till you hear this guy's voice with the added atmosphere. Check this out.
Listening Library presents Aragon, Inheritance, Book 1, by Christopher Paolini. Read for you by Gerard Doyle. Prologue. Shade of Fear. Wind howled through the night, carrying a scent that would change the world. A tall shade lifted his head and sniffed the air. He looked human, except for his crimson hair and maroon eyes. He blinked in surprise. The message had been correct. They were here. Or was it a trap? He weighed the odds, then said icily, "Spread out. Hide behind trees and bushes. Stop whoever is coming, or die.
I love it. Now he's in character voices. I love it. The music, the characters. It's narrated by Gerard Doyle. Does a fantastic job. Like I said, if you've seen the movie, do yourself a favor and go listen to the audiobook on Audible right now. Clocked in at like almost 16 and a half hours. I mean, you can tell just like looking at this, like I said, almost 7,000 ratings, 4.3 stars. It is a fantastic, fantastic listen. Check it out. And you could be downloading this absolutely free just by going to audible.com/Gamebreaker. You know, you download the app to your iOS device or your Android device. Of course, they have both. And download your free book, get to listening. And if you like the service, which I am sure you will, you sign up for a monthly account. They have like, you know, what do you want per month? 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, that kind of thing. And you get tokens for your monthly subscription. I'm on like the 2-book, 2-token scenario. Been a long time fan. Love Audible. I don't get to read as much anymore because I just listen. So check it out. Go to audible.com/Gamebreaker. All right, so Fail to Win is back. I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's back, and not in the usual feel-good slot machine way. There was an issue a while ago in the game, correct? With people like failing events because it was more beneficial than completing them. Matt?
Yes.
That did exist, correct?
Yeah. You know, they nerfed that, right? So no one does it anymore.
So it came back in a big way in the Cursed Shore, escorting the Doliacs to Joe Fast Waypoint. You know all about this, Matt? You're just like, all about
nope,
this. Yep.
Nothing at all. If it's an exploit, Matthew knows nothing.
So, like, Cursed Shore, escorting the Doliacs to Joe Fast Waypoint, fail the event, ton of champions respawn to farm for gold, and the event respawns after just 2 minutes. 120 seconds, respawn. Clearly a major problem. Now, obviously, Matt knows nothing of this, has never seen it, never heard of it. This is the first time he's hearing of such a thing. So, Richie, I will ask you: Have you seen this issue?
I haven't done it. Apparently, this chain has come back, and failing it causes it to respawn in 2 minutes. The difference now, from what I understand, is if you actually succeed, the event comes back in 5 minutes, which is not a ton of, it's not much longer. So you could go ahead and succeed it and still farm it every 5 minutes, but people seem to be going in there and failing it to get it on the 2-minute spawn. I know that some servers aren't able to get this going because you actually need a lot of people there to make it worthwhile, because the more people are there, it scales up and more champions will actually spawn. If you only have a small group, then you don't get a lot of champions, so that doesn't make it worthwhile. Yeah, it's back, and I know people are talking about it, and I know some people are saying it's great way to make money, and I know some people are saying, I hope ArenaNet nerfs this because it's kind of dumb to fail to win.
I'm hearing like it might be I'm hearing 10 gold an hour from this is what I'm hearing. Matt, what are you hearing? Are you hearing these numbers?
Oh yeah. I mean, no, of course not. But yeah, those are some high numbers, let me tell you. For a guy who farms, those are some good numbers right there.
I mean,
real quick.
Have they made like an official statement? Have they come out and said like, look, this is not working as intended. We do not want people to do this like this. I mean, I guess we can expect a hotfix incoming, hopefully.
I would expect them to do something about it. Maybe they're okay with having a 10 gold an hour farm. Maybe that's not the issue. But I don't think that they want you to purposely fail something to get it more rewarding. It's just silly. If they want people to be able to do a certain chain and farm it, then make it so actually succeeding is more lucrative than failing. They haven't made any statement about it as far as I've seen.
All right, I want to catch up really quickly. We're about at the midway point in Season 1 of Dub v Dubs. The start of the season, when it kicked off, we kind of talked about it. It was kind of plagued with some issues, lag, queue, stuff like that. I wanted to get an update. Like, we're about halfway through now. Has anything changed? Any other developments? Where are we?
Blackgate is ruling supreme. Sorry.
My experience has been pretty clean. I haven't been getting much lag. I don't know if that improves over everyone, if everyone's having the same experience as me, but I've been having a pretty decent experience inside of World v. World. No skill lag, no lag. I mean, the FPS still goes down, of course, but that's just with Guild Wars 2. But yeah, it's been okay. It's been easy going.
I know yesterday's patch it had a line in there that about significant improvements to heavy combat scenarios. I don't know if that helped or not. Richie, what are you seeing?
Yeah, apparently they went in and did a first sweep of some optimizations and stuff like that. I haven't been back in since the patch yesterday to actually try it out, but yeah, overall, we were talked about a lot of issues with the first week, and I think I even said something like, this is only the first couple days. There's people cramming in there. This will probably even out over 7 weeks. And even though Blackgate is a very popular World versus World server, they haven't lost a matchup yet. So there's still a lot of queues, but they're not as long. We're not seeing like 2 or 3 hour queues. And from what I did last week in World versus World, it did seem a lot better in terms of the lag. But one interesting thing, they did kind of sneak peek on the website some of the rewards for people who actually complete the meta achievement, and based on how well your server does. And one of them looked like they showed the Doliak finisher, which is a big golden trophy with a big yak thing on top. It's a Doliak, and it actually drops down on people, it looks like, and splats them. So that's cool. And it looks like they're going to have like special titles, and there's going to be a season 1 reward chest that you get a key for. And this is kind of I think there's going to be a shitstorm over this, to be honest, because here's why. This is a 7-week-long meta achievement. It is grueling from what I can see. I've already decided I'm not going to be able to complete it. I don't enjoy World versus World enough to grind out like all of these achievements. It's like kill 10,000 Doliaks, kill 1 million invaders, flip the castle in the middle 3,422 times. I'm not going to get it done. So, but here's the thing. I have friends who have been spending hours and hours and hours to get this achievement and get this key. And there's people that, like me, who we don't know what's going to be in that chest, but we figured we're not going to go through it. It's like, what is this reward going to be? Wouldn't you think they should kind of let people know what's going to be in this chest, or what they're actually going through all this work for beforehand? Because if it's a random chance to get something cool, and otherwise you just get some gold and some mats and some greens and blues or whatever, the people who slog this out are going to be really pissed. And if it's something like the ancient Karka box from last year, where it's like a guaranteed 2 exotics with a chance at precursors, then people like me are going to be upset because I would have slogged through this for something like that. So I think no matter what they do with this reward chest, people are going to be unhappy. Just mark my word, a couple weeks from now we're going to talk about it. People are going to be unhappy about this.
That Karka chest was like the best and worst update of Guild Wars 2.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's going to happen again.
Oh, man. That wouldn't be too good. All right, now I'm going to have to slog it out to get my last few achievements now. Now that you mentioned that, I was like, oh, snap.
I was gonna say now there's the what if. Greens. Now there's the what if factor. So I don't know, Rich. You might want to rethink that you're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be safe. I'm going to take my chances. I'm not doing it. And for everybody correcting me in chat about the numbers, I was exaggerating about that. I don't know if you caught that with the millions remark, but
millions. Last up this week, something we don't normally do, but I kind of wanted to do it because everybody loves fat loots. Couple of new weapons in the gem store. We don't talk about this too much, but these are pretty badass. I wanted to just show them really quick.
Okay, that staff is amazing because it's got a really cool animation. It actually it extends and things move around it. I've seen a couple people in game with that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, that is Kazmir's staff. So check that one out. Next one here is Marjorie's axe. Another one. Just killing it.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and all of these have cool effects with them too. So,
and then you've got Marjorie's dagger. So check those out all in the gem store. It's good looking stuff. Wanted to bring that up. We don't bring up too much of the gem store stuff. Mr. Matt Visual. Follow him on the Twitter at Matt_Visual, and of course go over to his YouTube channel and check out all his great Guild Wars 2 content on the YouTubes. It is tripled great to the 3rd power.
Oh yes.
Like the strength is in the hair, like Samson. Richie Procopio, follow him on Twitter at Richie Procopio, and go over to the Bog Otter channel over on YouTube as well, and make sure you follow him and watch him on the massively streamed team from time to time. So check it out. Go over to YouTube and follow him on the Twitter at Richie Procopio. You can follow me, Gary Gannon, follow Gamebreaker TV, and make sure you come over to the Gamebreaker Nation. Everybody watching the live show, get on there right now. You got a few minutes. The live stream will be kicking off. Go to GameBreakerNation.com. Join up to the fastest growing cross-gaming online gaming community there is this side of the universe. I don't know what that means. I just made it up, but it sounds good. Have a great week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week for more GuildCast.